The Clean Power Hour is brought to you by CPS America, the maker of North America's #1 three-phase string inverter, with over 6 gigawatts shipped in the U.S. The CPS America product lineup includes three-phase string inverters ranging from 25 to 275 kW. Their flagship inverter, the CPS 250-275, is designed to work with solar plants ranging from 2 megawatts to 2 gigawatts. The 250-275 pairs well with CPS America's exceptional data communication, controls, and energy storage solutions. Go to chintpowersystems.com to find out more.
The philosophy for us has to always look at the market, understand the market, and be prepared. In this sector, predicting the future is really tough. So we focus on being prepared for the future. And an example of that is today, PanelClaw has enough manufacturing capacity, domestic manufacturing capacity in the United States to support the entire flat roof sector by ourselves.
Are you speeding the energy transition? Here at the Clean Power Hour, our hosts Tim Montague and John Weaver bring you the best in solar, batteries, and clean technologies every week. Want to go deeper into decarbonization? We do too. We're here to help you understand and command the commercial, residential, and utility solar, wind, and storage industries. So let's get to it. Together we can speed the energy transition.
Today on the Clean Power Hour, we are going to geek out on rooftop racking for the commercial solar industry. I say disrupting and innovating in racking. My guest today is a repeat guest. He is Costa Nicolaou. He is the CEO of PanelClaw, my all-time favorite rooftop racking company. Welcome to the show again, Costa.
Tim, it's great to be here. What an awesome platform, and what a great medium for chatting with folks about this amazing industry that we're in. So thank you for having me again.
It is a privilege to work in clean energy. Like we're capitalists for good, and we're doing good for the world, for future generations. It really is a feel-good industry. It's not without its challenges, right? Supply chain challenges, the cost of products, labor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Legislation. We are in 2023. We're riding the coattails of the IRA, which was passed last year, the Inflation Reduction Act, which has a myriad of incentives, several $100 billion of incentives for the industry. You see all these factories now popping up, and this includes solar panels and batteries and EVs, and of course, racking products. So, Costa, give our listeners a high level. What is PanelClaw? Why are you the de facto leader in flat roof solar? And then we're going to get into some of the things that really make you unique beyond your wonderful flat roof ClawFR product.
Well, Tim, that's a very, very broad question. And so I'm happy to answer it as succinctly as I can. But, we're very proud at PanelClaw of the fact that we are absolute specialists. Rooftop is the only thing we do, and rooftop CNI is the only thing we do. So our team and I always think about it this way. Look, if we're not the best, and not the best by a bit, but the best by an absolute mile, then we're not in business, because we don't have anything else that we do. We don't have carports, we don't have trackers, we don't have a residential system. Rooftop CNI is the only thing we do. So our team is driven to be the absolute unequivocal best at it. So that's been one part of our success. And so what does that mean? It means we have to have the absolute best products. When we innovate, we're looking to disrupt, not follow. When we launch a new racking platform, we want everybody to copy us, copy the features. We want to be the one that's always ahead. And we've been really good at that over the past 15 years. We also want to do, on the services side, the things that make our customers' lives easier. And for us, that's meant reliability on the engineering side, support on the permitting side. Those are human beings and people, but also digital solutions that increase velocity. That's clawOS and clawLogic for PanelClaw. Those have really been critical to our success over the past few years. And I'll tell you right now, racking and digital solutions are about on par in terms of the value they provide to our partners for our offering and our success.
I'm going to put your website on screen for those watching the YouTube channel. Check out all of our content at cleanpowerhour.com. give us a rating and a review on Apple and Spotify. That is the best thing you can do to help others find this content. We're doubling the industry between now and 2030, right? We need another 250,000 professionals to join us between now and 2030. So please give us a rating and a review and check out our YouTube channel. It's very robust. All of our content goes on YouTube as well. So here you see ClawFR right on your landing page, proudly made in America. And you've got 5 degree, 10 degree, you've got dual tilt. And what I love about the system is you see the grid underneath the transparent solar modules in this schematic here, right? Obviously, the solar panels are not transparent in real life because they're collecting sunlight. But the grid does differentiate you because it means that the entire array can be a ballast. You do see ballast blocks here. You have to look carefully, but so you need less ballast. And so you call that the grid or the rails that the system is sitting on. And so you end up with this mesh on top of the roof, and it's just very elegant. But I guess if for lay people who are not geeks about solar racking, Costa, what is it? Geeks. Come on. What is it that separates ClawFR from your the dozen or other flat roof products in the United States?
Well, if you look at the evolution of flat roof mounting systems, it's kind of interesting, right? Flat roof in the US started with fully attached systems. Nobody knew about ballast and what that was. And then building owners started complaining about poking holes in their roof. So the ballasted system came to being. And when the ballasted systems came to being, there were two types of companies battling for a design architecture. They were rail-based designs, the Sunlinks of the world, for example, and they were the non-rail designs. I think Powerlight had a non-rail design early on. And back then, the panels were small and they were beefy and they were tanks. So when PanelClaw launched, we said, look, we don't need rails. That's metal on top of metal. That's rigidity on top of rigidity. That's a waste of metal. We're going the non-rail-based route. And we did non-rail-based better than anyone else in the world at the time. And that's one of the reasons we rose so quickly. We had a 3-component, 2 nut and bolt system back in 2008, when everybody claimed easy to install, but they had these erector sets that were impossible to install. So we came to being as a non-rail-based company. We cut our teeth in it. But then we saw something interesting happen. The panels started getting bigger. The frame started getting thinner and not as strong. And we said, wait a minute, this corner clamping, non-rail-based architecture, ain't going to work much longer. So we looked at the rail architectures that had existed and realized those were way too rigid. You can't have a rail-based system on a roof that does this, and every roof does this, undulating and is wavy. That's not flexible. So we set out to solve that problem, and that's what ClawFR did. ClawFR was the first flexible rail-based design for a roof. And what I mean by flexible, I mean two things. First, we're designing one module at a time. You don't have to install 2 or 3 modules together on a rail, like the old Sunlink system. And the system actually flexes a little, okay? So it flexes a little bit on the roof. It's semi-rigid, because if it's too rigid, it's not installable on a lot of roofs. So we did that. And then on top of that, we threw in a bunch of other stuff that nobody had done before on a flat roof. The flexible piece was one. The other piece was the ability to install all the racking without having panels on the roof. So you can build out the entire grid. Heck, you can add the ballast before a single module arrives. And that's important because of what you said earlier. There have been a lot of supply chain disruptions. Maybe you are in a tight timeline on a roof and you need to get going, but your panels won't arrive for 3 weeks, but you want to get going on the roof. Well, with a lot of mounting systems, you can kind of place the stuff around, but then you have to reshuffle it when the modules get there. With our system, you can lay out the entire grid, tighten the nuts and bolts. The single nut, there's a single bolt in our system. This is it. Okay, that's the only piece of hardware you need to install our system. It's an M6 bolt. And then when the panels arrive, the third piece of awesomeness in our design is you put away your tools, you put away your wrenches, you put away your drills, and you use your hands to click the panels into the system. No tools. That was pretty awesome. And then another amazing feature, the NEC code required, I think starting in 2017, rapid module shutdown on the roof. And that really catapulted SolarEdge onto the rooftop market and optimizers onto the rooftop market. Well, Guess what? We worked with SolarEdge to develop a way to mount our optimizers on our racking in a way that nobody had done before. That's pretty optimal and awesome. Instead of attaching it to the module, underneath the module and having it get hot, with ClawFR, you attach it sideways on our module connector. The QR codes are visible once the installation is done. You can visibly see all the connections. It's located on the perfect spot for reducing the need for whips on the roof. Pretty awesome way to mount optimizers on the roof. So we did a lot with that platform. I can keep going and going and going. We improved corrosion resistance. We're using zinc, aluminum, magnesium, 5x the corrosion resistance of Z90 with no price premium. Nobody talks about that, but it's pretty cool. So we did a lot on the hardware side. And when I said innovate and be miles away from everyone else, well, that's what we did. And now everyone else is starting to catch up and have features that are similar and look kind of the same, architectures that are, when you first look at it, look pretty similar. So guess what? We're still innovating. We're going to do the next disruptive thing. By the time they're done copying us, we'll have the next thing ready.
And what I really, was looking forward to about this is the digital platform. So I will put a link to our first interview in the show notes. When I was with Continental 2 years ago, we did an interview where we geeked out just on ClawFR, so you can look forward to that. But you've developed a platform called ClawOS for design, engineering, and I believe permitting. So tell us about ClawOS.
Yeah. So ClawOS is something that we've been using internally now for a decade. But we were one of the last companies to launch a platform where you can do all of this online. So think about a couple of our competitors that had platforms where you could go in, you can slap the panels on the roof, you can answer a couple of questions, and you can get a very raw, basic permit package and a bill of materials and engineering calculations. Well, the projects we work on are pretty massive or sometimes small but really important, like the project on the roof of the Center for Disease Control, right? Headquarters. These are big, important, with a lot of eyeballs on it. Our engine, clawOS, is the best, most robust, most flexible platform for engineering these systems on the roof. Yes, you get a bill of materials. Yes, you get a calculations package. Yes, you get a racking construction set. Those are table stakes. You can get that out of any tool. But what's behind those? Detailed calculations, defendable calculations, to code calculations. We can do designs to FM global requirements. We can do designs to a specific jurisdiction. We can, on a single roof in our ClawOS platform, if you have a building, schools are famous for this, above the gym, you might have a PSF limit of X. Above the classrooms, you might have a PSF limit of Y. Well, with ClawOS, you can define X and Y PSF limits within the same roof. You might have a portion of the roof that's EPDM and another portion of the roof that's tar and gravel because it hasn't been replaced yet. Well, you can design with tar and gravel and EPDM and multiple platforms, right? So it's pretty flexible and pretty robust, and there are a lot of dials in it. By far, the most flexible platform and optimized platform in all digital platforms that I've seen out there for flat roof.
And what, just for our installer listeners, who really know in detail how a solar project works, what are the inputs? Can you take a helioscope and upload that into ClawOS, or what is it that you're putting in?
You can. So you can bring stuff in from helioscope. You can bring stuff in from CAD. So there are multiple imports. So you can do the design with AutoCAD with our tools, or you can import a helioscope as well. So what you bring in is the slapping panels on the roof piece. But we also launched a native tool where you can sketch out the building inside of ClawOS and place the panels inside of the tool itself. So you have the option to design in tool, you have the option to bring in helioscope, you have the option to bring in AutoCAD.
Very cool. And is it truly soup to nuts design engineering and permitting, or because that permitting piece is deep? There are many thousands of jurisdictions around the country, right?
Yeah, so all the racking permitting side is done inside of ClawOS. So we're not doing the structural building analysis part of the permit package. You don't have the electrical part of the permit package,
Sure.
but everything you need to get the racking piece permitted is inside of ClawOS. You get an engineering calculations package and a matching racking construction set from ClawOS, and it's in minutes. It's incredibly fast. I think right now it's supporting over 100,000 panels on a single roof. It's pretty awesome.
We were talking in the pre-show about the growth of PanelClaw over the years and changes. You were acquired by Nstall, formerly ESDEC, in 2020. Let's talk a little bit more about the big picture of how the industry has changed in the last couple of years and where you're going. And then I also want to talk about, you like to talk about these pillars, and you have another product that is not visible to the public, but it's another digital platform around logistics, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, so let me talk about that first, because it's pretty cool, and I wish we could say we were geniuses with it. No, we weren't, because it's available in all sorts of other industries. We were just the first to solve it inside of flat roofs. So the digital platform that we're talking about is ClawLogic. It sort of mirrors clawOS. clawOS is design, permitting, engineering. Okay, and so that gets you to submitting a permit package into a building department and issuing a purchase order to PanelClaw. Once you issue the purchase order, the traditional process has been the PO comes into PanelClaw, we send out an order acknowledgement back to you saying, hey, we received your purchase order and we're confirming that we can hit your ship date. And then a couple of days go by, or a week before we ship, we send out another note or call you and say, hey, the order's ready to ship. Is the ship date still the same? And usually hear, no, we got to move it, push it, pull in and pull out. And all of that is done via phone calls and emails. And we're sitting there saying, well, you know what? If I want to order socks for my kids, I go on Amazon Prime, I look for socks, I find a sock, I push a button, it says it's going to be there on the 3rd, and then I keep checking my orders, and I can see the little Amazon truck coming towards my house, and I can see that it was delivered. And I never have to call Amazon or get an email from Amazon or figure out where my delivery is or what's going on. I can do it right here, right? Well, why couldn't you do that with racking? It's not rocket science, right? So that is ClawLogic. ClawLogic is Amazon Prime for flat roof racking, okay? The post-order piece. So the process now is you place your purchase order with us, and when you place the purchase order, we send you a link. And you can click on that link, set up your account, and you can see your order in our system. Actually, you can see all of your orders in our system. You can see the different lines. You can see how many pallets are going to be on the truck. You can see how much the pallets weigh. You can see when the truck is leaving. You can see if we shipped half the order or the full order. Sometimes people want to split the orders, right? You can see your bill of lading. Once the order's been received and someone signed for the order, we upload the bill of lading so you can go and see who signed for the order. You can see your credit limit. You can see your invoices. It's order management on a digital platform. And to our amazement, nobody else had done this. Everybody's still doing emails and phone calls, which is incredibly inefficient. Because what if somebody's on vacation? Or what if something changed and you forgot? You can go on the website and you can go on our page and you can literally see where everything stands. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty basic. But guess what? Nobody has it. We do. And it's pretty cool. And it's called ClawLogic.
I love it. Like you said, if somebody's on vacation, it just doesn't matter, right? You have complete visibility into what's going on with your order, which is very unusual. And I love that analogy, the Amazon Prime of rooftop racking. Every company should have this. And it's only a matter of time, of course. But
please build these platforms. And by the way, when I say nobody has it, nobody in flat roof has it.
Sure.
Distributors might have tools that are like this, and they might have had them for a long time. But what was amazing to us is nobody seems to have done it in CNI, and certainly no one else in CNI flat roof had done this before. And the feedback from our customers has been tremendous. If you're doing only one order with us a year, you might not see the benefit of it. It's kind of cool. But we do a lot of portfolios. If you're doing 300, 400, 500 projects with us a year, and at any given point in time, you have 20 or 30 in the hopper, and you have 5 project managers at your company that are coordinating all these projects, and the procurement person is trying to figure out how all these cats are being herded, well, that procurement person can log into our website and see where all the orders for all the PMs are. I can't oversell it enough. It's been amazing.
Oh, I wanted to, you mentioned distribution. So if I'm an installer and I want to acquire ClawFR product, do I work directly through PanelClaw, or are you also available through distribution?
So we have traditionally been a direct-only company, but we started now selling through Green Tech Renewables and BayWa. So those are the two distributors that we offer ClawFR through today. So you can buy from us, or if you're used to buying from Green Tech Renewables or from BayWa, absolutely, you can go to them and they'll have our product available. That's pretty cool. You asked another question, Tim, that I didn't answer, and that is, how did everything go with Nstall? The Nstall acquisition has been fantastic. They are exactly who they said they were in the pre-acquisition discussions, and I say that because it's sometimes rare. Companies say one thing and then you get acquired and something else happens. They are exactly who they said they were, and then some. Stein is a true visionary. The vision that he has for Nstall is fantastic. And we've been very fortunate that all of the shared services that they offer to us have really enabled us to grow and accelerate the adoption of flat roofs. So it has been absolutely tremendous, and it's as exciting today as it was 15 years ago, and as it was 3 years ago when we were acquired. So that says a lot, right?
It does.
We're all still here at PanelClaw, and we're all still even more fired up to go build more flat roof solar.
The Clean Power Hour is brought to you by CPS America, the maker of North America's #1 three-phase string inverter, with over 6 gigawatts shipped in the U.S. The CPS America product lineup includes three-phase string inverters ranging from 25 to 275 kW. Their flagship inverter, the CPS 250-275, is designed to work with solar plants ranging from 2 megawatts to 2 gigawatts. The 250-275 pairs well with CPS America's exceptional data communication, controls, and energy storage solutions. Go to chintpowersystems.com to find out more. So Nstall is originally a Dutch company.
Yes.
Most people would know it as ESDEC. That's how I knew it. When you mentioned Nstall, I was like, what? Who is that? But now I get it. And so there's a number of brands for our listeners. Just if you're not familiar, just go to nstall.com. But EcoFasten, Iron Ridge, PanelClaw, Bluebase, Sunfir, and CPX are all brands. I'm not familiar with some of these brands, but very robust global company. And but I'm curious, like, so you're the flat roof racking brand within Nstall.
Yes, in the U.S.
And are you strictly a U.S. racking company, or are you working in other markets?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Tim. So in the U.S., Nstall acquired 4 brands. They acquired EcoFasten, Iron Ridge, Quick Mounts. Those are all in the residential sector, and PanelClaw in the flat roof sector. So in the U.S., we are the rooftop CNI platform for Nstall. EcoFasten and Iron Ridge are the residential platforms in the U.S. PanelClaw has a sister company in Europe that is also owned by Nstall called CPX. They are the PanelClaw of Europe. They work with a large commercial CNI customers doing what we do in Europe. So systems going on the roofs of IKEAs, Amazons, et cetera, in Europe are going through CPX, and in the U.S., that's PanelClaw.
Got it. Anything else about working with Nstall you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, I think, one of the things that I'm really excited about is the business model for them. Not just the companies they've acquired best-in-class companies and allowed us to grow and supported us in our growth. The shared services model, where finance is a shared service, HR is a shared service, setting up new manufacturing is a shared service. What that means is PanelClaw doesn't have to do that anymore. They take care of that for us. What does that allow us to do then? It allows us to focus on service. It allows us to focus on product. It allows us to focus on our customers. So that ability to focus on helping our partners win without having to worry about capital formation, without having to worry about setting up a new manufacturer and new capacity, they take care of all of that. So now the ability to make our customers and our partners really, really happy and help them deploy more solar, that's pretty much what we do now. And it's pretty awesome. It's refreshing. It's liberating. And the proof has been our growth. We've grown quite a bit since they've acquired, and it's been a lot of fun.
Can you talk at all about that? Because I like to say, we're still down here at the bottom of the S curve. We are starting to go vertical. Literally, this industry is going to double by 2030, and we're already 250 to 270,000 people strong, major industry, but about to get super major. But what, when you think about the growth curve and the momentum, how does that impact PanelClaw?
Well, look, the philosophy for us has to always look at the market, understand the market, and be prepared. In this sector, predicting the future is really tough. So we focus on being prepared for the future. And an example of that is today, PanelClaw has enough manufacturing capacity, domestic manufacturing capacity in the United States to support the entire flat roof sector by ourselves. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if the market doubles, we don't have to add double the capacity. We have to add a little bit more capacity.
How many gigawatts in your estimation is that?
The U.S. flat roof market, somewhere around 1.4 gigawatts a year, give or take, within the C&I sector. And that's just an estimate. Nobody tracks it. So we estimated around 1.4.
Got it. Innovation is one of your hallmarks, Costa, and you kind of ooze innovation. So let's talk about that in our last couple of minutes together. How do you see innovation, and what is your particular role, I guess, at PanelClaw in keeping the innovation rolling, so to speak?
Yeah, well, we set the expectations high for the product development and innovation team, which is within the Nstall shared services group. We demand a lot of them, but look, the basic definition, there are a lot of companies that launch products, and they launch a lot of products, and they equate launching products with innovation, which is fine. That's a valid definition. You're launching a new product. You consider yourself an innovative company, fine. That's not my definition of innovation. My definition of innovation, and the standard that we set for the group that's developing flat roof racking for us, is different. Innovation, to me, real innovation, is when you launch something that nobody else has, when you do something that no one else has done. That's innovation, not just launch a product because you're trying to catch up to somebody else's product. You're launching something that truly doesn't exist, hasn't existed before. And PanelClaw has been really good at that over the past 15 years. And the proof is today. I was at RE Plus at our booth in Las Vegas, and I had folks coming to us and saying, have you looked at that booth? It looks like your product. Have you looked at their booth? That looks like your product. And the answer is great, fantastic. They're starting to catch up. That's awesome. We got there first. And by the way, when you really dig into those products, they're not the same. They're starting to look the same, but they're not quite there yet. And by the time they catch up, we have the next thing already launched. That's what drives me to drive our team at the shared services group at Nstall, to keep us ahead of everyone else, to keep launching stuff, hardware and digital solutions and services that are things that no one else has done, that solve problems for our industry that nobody else has solved in a way that nobody else has solved them before. And we've been really, really good at that. And actually, since being acquired by Nstall, we've gotten better. So it's really exciting. Does that make sense, Tim?
Absolutely. Like, going where no one's gone before is so vital. That's one of the things I appreciate. People like Steve Jobs, like Elon Musk. Elon is in the news in so many ways, and people love to hate on Elon because he is kind of crazy. But he created the EV market in the United States with an American-made product that is awesome. And, it's just hand over fist better, and the sales show that, right? Like, nobody else can touch Tesla in the United States when it comes to EVs.
You bet.
And so you can hate him for all the other things, but he's created a market, which is a very important part of the energy transition because of the carbon footprint of transportation. But Costa, you mentioned a few other things in our...
Tim, if I can stop you there.
Go ahead.
That's what Stein Voss is doing for Nstall, right? He's the next one. He's already there. He's a visionary. He's an amazing leader, a great culture person inside of Nstall. We'll follow him to the end of the earth. And he's driving us and motivating us to do these things, to carry the solar system on our shoulders and make solar installers our heroes, right? And to empower the accelerated deployment of rooftop solar all over the world. And so if you want to add another visionary to your list, Stein Voss is one that you should add to that list.
Cool. Well, maybe you can help me get him on the show.
You bet.
I would love to talk to him. You mentioned 3 pillars that kind of drive your how you frame things at your business. Can you tell us what those are and how they impact where you're going? Yeah, and you are going some new places too, which I'd love for you to discuss as well.
Oh, you bet. So, look, we already talked about the racking innovation and making sure that our focus on flat roof and our products on the rooftop side are ones that others follow, not ones that follow others, right? So we talked a lot about that. The digital solutions, we're increasing velocity, we're reducing friction, we're lowering soft costs. We already talked about those. There is another pillar that we've been working on for a long time, and again, another great thing of being part of Nstall is ESG. Our customers talk about ESG a lot. When you talk about Google, when you think about Microsoft, when you think about Prologis, the ESG initiatives are everywhere in the Fortune 500 companies, right? They're all over the place in the Fortune 500 companies. But if you look at the solar sector, yeah, we're green, we're renewable. But where are the ESG initiatives? Well, Nstall just released our first ever ESG report. You can find it at nstall.com, and you can find our ESG report. We're working on our ISO 14001 certification. And on top of that, we now have an ESG rating from Sustainalytics for Nstall that puts us at the low risk, that looks at the risk of I think it's our supply chain. And our score is the second best possible type of score that you get for an ESG rating. And we're just getting started. So to find a racking company that talks the talk and walks the walk on ESG, oh, and by the way, this is also just about to become public. SIA has a diversity, equity, justice, and inclusion certification. Well, guess what? PanelClaw, Iron Ridge, EcoFast, just achieved a silver certification for SIA's DEIJ certification program. We were bronze last year. We got to silver this year. And I think that there are only 5 companies within the certification program that have achieved silver or higher. So again, you talk the talk, we walk the walk on ESG. As a racking company, Tim, name other racking companies that you're hearing saying ESG and actually doing something about it. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty invigorating. Oh, and one last thing, Nstall has an organization called Nstall Empowers, where we're providing training, installation services, funds. It's providing it. Think of it as a foundation within Nstall, where we can provide free racking, we can provide training resources, we can provide funds to help train people and deploy solar for folks that don't have the means to do it. Nstall Empowers is a pretty awesome organization. Again, another awesome thing about being part of the Nstall family.
Very cool. I look forward to talking to Stein about all of that. One last thing, you talk about ESG and the carbon footprint of all the stuff we make, the built environment. Well, you happen to make steel products. Steel has a very high carbon footprint historically. What are your strategies for migrating to a lower carbon steel?
Yeah. So first of all, definition of low carbon has to be commonly understood, and we're not quite there in the U.S. We're there in Europe. Corey Geiger, our Chief Operations Officer for the U.S., is looking into all of this for all of the Nstall companies. It matters to us. I would point you back to our sustainability report, and it covers where we're going and what's next. A lot of our challenges right now in the U.S. are around the availability of clean steel, low carbon steel, and the definitions of that. We care about it in our packaging. We care about it in our transportation. We care about it in everything that we do. And I would say it's a journey for us. So our sustainability report is one milestone in this journey, and it outlines other milestones that we have outlined between now and the next couple of years. So it's a journey, yep. And it's one that really matters to us. Like I said, we talk the talk and we walk the walk.
Yeah, I mean, now the U.S. has launched a hydrogen hub initiative, right? The U.S. DOE is funding green hydrogen around the country. You can make steel with green hydrogen. The Swedes are doing it. So I look forward to seeing how that evolves. One final thing, you've been very involved with SEIA in a group of manufacturers, and I'm very involved with ISEA, the Illinois Solar Energy or Illinois Solar and Storage Association. But tell us a little bit about your involvement with SEIA and why should others in your position, other OEMs, and it's not just OEMs, but in particular OEMs, consider participating in SEIA?
Yeah, so SEIA is our federal trade association, or national trade association.
Yeah.
And then you have local chapters or affiliates and independent chapters as well. So SEIA is the national organization, industry association, one of the national industry associations. And I would say when it comes to federal policy, they are absolutely amazing. The Inflation Reduction Act does not pass without the involvement of the Solar Energy Industry Association. So within SEIA, I've been involved as the vice chair of the Distributed Generation Division for 2 years, and then I chaired the Distributed Generation Division for 4 years. And then Abby Hopper, the CEO, created a manufacturing division 4 years ago, right before the last election. And I was fortunate enough to be elected as the first chair of that manufacturing division. I've been chair now for 4 years, 2 2-year terms. So I'm terming out at the end of December. And we grew the membership for the manufacturing division from 8 founding members to now over 100 manufacturers that are members of this division within the industry association. And within that 4-year time span, we helped shepherd the white paper and the policy, 2-page policy paper that drove a lot of the elements in the Inflation Reduction Act, a lot of the incentives in the Inflation Reduction Act that we see today. So a very powerful division within SEIA, growing influence within SEIA. And also, it's important to be able to mobilize the manufacturing jobs. That's something that we hadn't been able to do that as an industry before. We talked about it, but we weren't measuring it and we weren't mobilizing it. And now through SEIA, we're able to both measure and mobilize the manufacturing sector to support the industry at the state and federal level. So that's been amazing. And I look forward to continued involvement with SEIA. It's an awesome association. And by the way, you also asked, any company that is in the solar sector must be a member of SEIA. When you look at other sectors, biotech, education, law enforcement, they all have industry associations, and they're all incredibly well-funded and incredibly powerful. We want solar to arrive. One of the metrics that I always look at is how powerful and how well-funded is our industry association. And the quicker we get there, the faster we will grow. So if you're in solar and you're not a member of SEIA, for as little as $750 to as much as a lot more, you can become a member and contribute. And I urge every and any company in the sector to join SEIA. SEIA.org.
Well said.
SEIA.org.
SEIA.org. Well, check out all of our content at cleanpowerhour.com. Give us a rating and a review on Apple and Spotify, and reach out to me. I love connecting with my listeners. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can contact me through the website. And with that, Costa, how can our listeners find you and PanelClaw?
Well, you can find me anytime. PanelClaw.com is our website. You can reach out through there, and I'm always available. But Tim, before I leave, thank you for all that you do. One of the things that this industry really can benefit from more is great voices like yours. When somebody asks the right questions, when somebody wants to drive the industry and bring folks on that can enlighten us on a topic, and you do that with each and every podcast. So I'm a big fan, I'm a big listener, and I'm extremely appreciative of all that you continue to do for our industry. So for that, thank you. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you, Costa. You've made some wonderful connections for me, and I really appreciate you making time for the show. It doesn't happen often enough. So with that, I'll say thank you for listening. I do this for my listeners, for the thousands and thousands of energy professionals or aspiring energy professionals out there. Thank you, and let's grow solar and storage. I'm Tim Montague.
Let's grow it.
Take care.
Thank you, Tim.
Hey, listeners. This is Tim. I want to give a shout out to all of you. I do this for you twice a week. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us your time. I really appreciate you and what you're all about. You are part and parcel of the energy transition, whether you're an energy professional today or an aspiring energy professional. So thank you. I want to let you know that the Clean Power Hour has launched a listener survey, and it would mean so much to me if you would go to cleanpowerhour.com, click on the About Us link right there on the main navigation. That takes you to the About page, and you'll see a big graphic, Listener Survey. Just click on that graphic, and it takes just a couple of minutes. If you fill out the survey, I will send you a lovely baseball cap with our logo on it. The other thing I want our listeners to know is that this podcast is made possible by corporate sponsors. We have Chin Power Systems, the leading three-phase string inverter manufacturer in North America. So check out CPS America. But we are very actively looking for additional support to make this show work. And you see here our media kit with all the sponsor benefits and statistics about the show. You know, we're dropping 2 episodes a week. We have now over 320,000 downloads on YouTube, and we're getting about 45,000 downloads per month. So this is a great way to bring your brand to our listeners, and our listeners are decision makers in clean energy. This includes project executives, engineers, finance, project management, and many other professionals who are making decisions about and developing, designing, installing, and making possible clean energy projects. So check out cleanpowerhour.com, both our listener survey on the About Us and our media kit, and become a sponsor today. Thank you so much. Let's grow solar and storage. The Clean Power Hour is brought to you by CPS America, the maker of North America's #1 three-phase string inverter, with over 6 gigawatts shipped in the U.S. The CPS America product lineup includes three-phase string inverters ranging from 25 to 275 kW. Their flagship inverter, the CPS 250-275, is designed to work with solar plants ranging from 2 megawatts to 2 gigawatts. The 250-275 pairs well with CPS America's exceptional data communication, controls, and energy storage solutions. Go to chinpowersystems.com to find out more.